Hey everybody, what's going on? It's me, that guy from Team Niederdorf, bringing you another anime review. That is right. As promised at the end of Abridgmon, I know I've been putting up some Quantum Break videos, and there's more of those on the way. Because I recorded a whole bunch. I'm going through the whole game. Twice, because, you know, there's two paths. Anyhow, enough plugging that. We have Data Live. Now, for those of you who may not know the plot of Data Live, I personally like the show, but for those of you who don't know, basically, the series starts with this gigantic, energy orb distortion, leveling an entire city, causing 150 million casualties, and this event was called the Spatial Quake. Now, more Spatial Quakes happened over the years, for the next 30 years. However, they were smaller and they were fairly infrequent, and it turns out the reason for these spatial quakes are these things called spirits have come into our world somewhat uninvited, if you will, because if they're here with an invitation, they somehow don't cause a spatial quake. Now, the main character is called Shido. And this is a sort of harem anime. It also says romantic comedy. It's also sci-fi fantasy. It's got some mech stuff in there. So, Shido and his sister Kotori are living together. And then Kotori's like, you better be here at this diner. And if you're not there, I'm going to be mad at you. So, he's at school and a spatial quake goes off. And he's like, oh crap, I can't find my sister. Oh shit, she might be at the diner. And then here we get to see our first spirit, who's on the cover of everything, named Toka. Now Toka immediately thinks Shido's trying to kill her. And he's like, no, I'm not trying to kill you. I just want to know what's going on. And then he runs into her again, and it's not really a spoiler because this all happens in the first episode or so. This is just explaining the lore. Yeah. Shido gets recruited by Fraxis, who happens to be run by his little sister. And Fraxis is an organization that, unlike the AST, which is what Toka refers to as the Mecha Mecha Squad, the AST was a unit designed to combat these spirits that are causing these spatial quakes, and they don't really give two shits about the spirits. They just want them dead because they're obviously causing chaos. However, Fraxis believes that you can seal the spirit's powers away by effectively taking them on a date, and the way Shido has the ability to seal these spirits is by kissing them. So this show has a nice handful of spirits coming through, and he has to go through and seal them and stop different spirit stuff from happening while having to deal with the AST and Fraxis. And there's awkward moments, obviously, as more spirits get in there, and he's like, I sort of just want, one of you, but he ends up loving all of them. Though he has a special place in his heart for Toka, because that is the only one he named. She's like, I don't know, and I don't have a name, what do you think? And he's like, Toka, and she's like, okay, cool. And there's this nice cool scene where the two of them are talking, the AST's just raining down fire, and then she just has this force field that spirits emit, just blocking all the bullets. It's great. And there's a lot of good humor in this show. When they first teach him how to talk to girls, they have him seduce his teacher, who's 29 years old. And it's one of the funniest scenes in the entire show. And then Kotori tries to get him to hook up with Toka on the first date, and he's like, no, we don't want to go and, forget the name of the theme park they called it, but it was essentially a sex hotel. And he's like, no, we're not going to do that. So, he rounds up a nice little harem, so to speak, of these spirits, who are these warrior-class humanoid the species, if you will. You know, you have your brawler, you have your sword fighter, you have the creepy one with weird powers, you have the hermit, you have the set of twins, You got all that good stuff, and you have like the fiery one that's just a powerhouse. So, the spirits that will not be spoilers are, we got Toka, we got Yoshino, who speaks through a puppet called Yoshinon. And Yoshinon's sort of like the lolly, if you will, of the group. She's this little girl. It looks like a little girl. She's very lost and confused, and Shido is sort of a big brother-esque father figure. So we got Shido, Yoshino, Yoshinon. Then we have, I know this is skipping a few for some of you who've seen the show, but you have Kaguya and Yuzuru, who in the second season sort of crashed the field trip that Shido's on with his school. And, you know, he has to seal them away. And their whole spiel is that they were once one spirit, and one cannot coexist without the other. So when one dies, like, one has to eventually take over and become the single spirit. And Shido, being the man that he is, goes, no, there needs to be a way out for both of you. Now, the biggest weirdo of them all is Kurumi. She's like this black maid dress. She's sort of the antagonist of the show, aside from the AST. She's just very weird, very sadistic, and just hell-bent on destruction and chaos. Like, you can clearly tell from her character design that she is just a powerhouse. And then, and the last spirit that wouldn't be spoiler territory that I can get to is Miku. And she's this diva-esque person that started as a person before they became the spirit, oddly enough. And she somehow got spirit power. And her thing is basically she sings and people do what she wants. Now, other people's powers vary differently. Shido, through his sealing ability, gets some sort of regenerative ability. This can be seen when he's saving Yoshino, because she gets like this giant rabbit, sort of like Yoshinon, that she rides on, sort of like the giant two-headed Akamaru from Naruto. And she creates like this giant ice storm. Her thing's like ice. And it's just really cool. Like, a lot of the action in here is fucking fantastic. And there's even fights between like AST members and whatnot. Like, it's really cool to watch. Now, the other chick that isn't a spirit but is part of the harem and seen in through the entire series is Origami. She's the next chick while he's learning how to seduce spirits. He picks up, if you will. And then she's like, okay, sure. So, she technically thinks, you know, they're boyfriend-girlfriend. Then obviously he has to go out with Toka, and then Kaguya, Yuzuru, Miku, all of them. Like, they all think they're going on dates. Kurumi. And it's not just a dating show, because there's, as I said, a lot of good action. It has a very interesting lore, a lot of political stuff of, you know, do you befriend the destructive force, or do you just outright destroy it? And I personally find that really cool. Now, obviously there's twists and turns along the way, hence why I'm trying to, like, tread lightly here, because I don't really want to spoil anything. Other than, like, minor plot points that, you know, is just sort of meh. But Shido's a cool guy. He's the guy that always has to find the right way out. He's the guy that's like, you know what, if there's this option or this option, why can't there be a third option? And he always has to come up with not always, but he generally always comes up with the third option anyway. Because, you know, there always needs to be a way out. He doesn't believe that there can't be a way out. And there's this whole crew on the Fraxis that, like, basically turns his life into a dating sim. Like, a chick will talk and then, like, answers what to say next or on the screen, and it's pretty funny, and it's It's good comedy, good action. It's good for you harem people. It's good for you sci-fi people. It's just a good show overall. It's not like the best show I've ever seen, but it's not the worst either. Like, I enjoyed myself very much watching this show. So, hopefully I did a good job of watching Date Alive, and hopefully you will go check it out. It's on Funimation. I am, as I said many times on this channel, I'm not sponsored by Funimation, but get their streaming service. They're all access pass for those of you who don't like subs and you're a dub guy like me. Hate me if you will. $60, you get access to basically their entire catalog, unlimited anime. It's fucking sweet. You get simul-dub, simulcast, so for you sub people, you still get the brand new anime just after it airs in Japan, and it's pretty awesome. So that's pretty much it for this video, so we're gonna break on 3 people, and we'll see you next time. 1, 2, 3. See you next time, folks.